Tea Buddies. I know it's been a minute since I made a video, but I'm back with a challenge to post a video about tarot every day for the next 31 days. So we're going to start right now with my personal reading for 2018. Okay, so that's just a quick jump. So some of the things that have happened since we did the vlog every day in August, which I completed successfully, 31 videos in 31 days. Did I learn a lot? Yes. Did I learn how bad my videos were? Well, if you go to day 1 through to day 31, you can see there was a world of difference. So we're going to see how this goes here, but this specifically for the next 31 days is all about tarot. So it's about different ways of looking at tarot, different questions. It comes from a woman that I follow. Her name is Ethany. She's in Vancouver, British Columbia. And on her blog, I think it's ethany.com is her website. And on her blog, she has 31 days of tarot if you want to follow along with what the topics are going to be. But anyway, so we're going to be looking at various different aspects of tarot. Now, this time, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the reading that I did for myself for today, which is full moon in Cancer. That's my birth sign. And Ethany has come up with a calendar of readings for full moons and new moons for the next year. And what I chose to do is to do that reading, which is 5 cards. And it's a little more in depth than the one that Ethany outlines in her proposed topics for 31 days. I'm going to stick with them pretty much, but I just thought I would do this reading because, well, it's a full moon in Cancer and that's my birth sign, so why not? What I'm going to be using is my Druidcraft Tarot deck. And for, I don't know, 25 years, I've been using the Aquarian Tarot. Saw this deck, liked the look of it, ordered it, and now I'm using it all the time. So more about that in another video that'll be coming up tomorrow or the day after. But what I want to do today is to just take a look at what my reading looks like for this year. So here it is. Now, this is, as I said, Druidcraft Tarot. It's a 5-card pull. And what's interesting is the symmetry of this pull, which is interesting because what I do is I shuffle the cards. When I'm doing this kind of reading, I'll pull the first 5 cards right off the top of the deck. Sometimes if I'm doing like a 3-card challenge, I'll lay them out in 3 different piles. But these were pulled 5 cards, 1 through 5, 1 here, 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So we have 2 major arcana cards, we have 2 aces, and we have the 8 of Pentacles in the middle. So, excuse me while I get a drink. So, I want to talk about how this reading works. The Druidcraft Tarot looks at tarot at 3 different levels of initiation. So we have the ace through 10. And so those cards are the first level of initiation. Then we have the court cards. And in this particular deck, rather than being page, knight, queen, king, it is princess, prince, queen, king. And then we have the 3rd phase, or the 3rd initiation, which is the major arcana cards. In some decks, some people say the major arcana is talking about our inner growth and spiritual development and personal development. So there, in this deck, there are 3 phases of initiation, and there is a continual look at growth and balance. And as you know, tarot seems to be all about balance, or at least it is in the work that I do. And so I'm going to take a look at these 5 cards. Now, the way I read is a combination of what I use the Rider-Waite interpretations as a reference for the work that I do. Some of it is intuitive reading of the imagery that is in this deck. And this deck is very intentional about the imagery that it's using. It's based on Wiccan beliefs and on Druidic beliefs. And so there is a lot of imagery in each card that is very intentional and very specific. So you can look at these cards, and from an intuition point of view, there is a richness of objects and predictions and such. So I really quite love this deck for that reason. Can you tell? And so there's this symmetry here in this deck. So let's just jump right in. Now, I'm one of those people who takes extensive notes when I do readings. And so this reading begins and ends with the major arcana. So not only is there a higher level of vibration or energy here, but with the first card, we see the world, which is sort of, we have it as an ending and a beginning. And this particular card is saying that we've reached a certain level of development. We're going to move forward into 2018, and there is going to be an even higher level of initiation going on. Now, I do know, and it does come up again in this reading a little bit later on, that we have been going through a major energy shift. I believe it's very specific to light workers, or at least light workers have been noticing it and feeling it more. It's been happening since the solstice. And I think we're leveling up our energy. So things are going to be pretty radically different in 2018. I think the entire planet is being called to function at a much higher level. And it's going to be a year of change. Now, it's a 2-year, so we're going to be striving for balance, I think, throughout this entire year. But anyways, on to the reading. So we have the world here, and so the thing about the world is that we've learned a certain amount of, or we've come to a certain amount of growth and acquisition of skills. And so we're moving into a new phase. But part of this card is also, and it's throughout this reading, is owning and being confident in that skill set and being able to step into the future with a sense of ease. So the edges of pushing for business have kind of been smoothed off. I'll get into it a little bit more when we deal with this card here for the challenge. But so anyways, I have here, what I'm seeing is that it's time to stop pushing forward every single minute of the day. It's like I don't have to be tied to doing coursework and working with clients and sacrificing the richness of life for the work, right? So it's, and I'll talk a little bit more about the integration of those parts, but it is, this card also is having a component of being able to be with this. One of the interesting things about the imagery here in this one is if you look at the positioning of the legs, it's like the hangman, but upright. So it's an interesting transition of that energy. Anyways, enough said about that. I could go on forever about these individual cards because they're really quite amazing. All right, the second card is, what do I need to nurture? It is the Ace of Cups. Again, full of imagery. Just want to draw your attention. This is birch leaves here. There is a salmon here. And there are 5 waterfalls here. All of those are significant. But here, what I see is that it's a time to nurture creative inspiration, to nurture connection with others. So I see that nurturing here is going to involve moving forward in this year, working in collaboration with different people, and to I'm going to be doing some more collaborative work. And I think that's going to be really interesting. I think there's some exciting things just sort of on the horizon here that I'm in the middle of negotiating about that I think are going to be really lots of fun. But the other thing that's really interesting about this card, and certainly I think it is part of our initiation and moving forward, is that when we drink of the cup, and we're talking about Druidic traditions here, by drinking from the cup, we accept the gifts of the goddess and the grail. So contained within those gifts is the gift of divination, and it suggests that to take and to nurture more time for development of keener, divination skills. So what it's telling me is that instead of sort of like waking up in the morning and hitting the floor and getting dressed and taking the dogs out and sitting down and starting my work and developing my course material and putting together the videos, that maybe what I ought to do is wake up and do, did you know there's yoga you can do from your bed? Like, I think that's a great idea. Maybe I should do that. But to get up, to stretch, to exercise, to take the dogs for a walk, to sit down, to do a daily reading for myself, to spend 15 or 20 minutes in meditation connecting with spirit, and to develop further those skills that are going to enhance my psychic ability and my mediumship ministry. And I'll talk more about the ministry aspect of that. But it's just accepting the gifts of the goddess and to understand that there is a necessary time to work on and to set the foundation for developing those divination skills. So now, what are my guides asking for me to reflect on? Sorry, medications here give me dry mouth, so I have to keep on drinking coffee or tea or whatever. Anyways, so what are my guides asking me to reflect on? So here we have the Eight of Pentacles. 8, as you know, is often a number that's interpreted around financial prosperity. Not such a bad idea. And so I think what this card is asking me to reflect on is to really put into action those breakthroughs that I've had around money, which has been a long personal challenge for me, in that it was necessary for me to see that money was a reflection of the profound influence that you can have with a client. I know that the work that I do makes a difference in my clients' lives. I know that. I can see it. I can see their body physically change as I'm working with them. The difficulty for me has always been that, and I still struggle with it, but it's different. I had to recontextualize my beliefs around money, because one of the beliefs that I had around money was that if you have money, that somehow or another having money turns you into an asshole. It turns you into an awful human being. It turns you into a 1%. It makes you uncaring and uninvolved in your community. What I had to seriously do this past year was to work on reframing that belief structure, so that I began to see that by doing well financially for myself, it also meant that I was able to support those causes that I believe in, that I was able to be generous with my friends in gifting them with, I don't know, whatever, but just sort of being able to say to someone, let me take you for lunch, and to not have it be a huge financial crisis. So there was a lot of work that I had to do just with the everyday things around finances, money, income, and valuing my work in such a way that I was willing to accept that I could do more than $5 readings. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's been a struggle, but I had a major breakthrough in November around that, and things have been quite a bit different since then. So I think that what the message that I'm getting from my guides is to pay attention, to detail and implement a plan, and to understand that my work is love. So, and that it is okay to have a fair exchange of energy in terms of valuing the work that I do, and people who go out and earn their living as carpenters and nurses and as doctors and lawyers and Walmart greeters, that they expend energy, and that energy is reflected and returned to them in terms of their income and their cash and their paychecks, and that when they choose to share that with me, it is the value that they place on working with me and the difference that it makes in their life. So it's a really fair exchange of energy. It took me a long time to get really, really, really fine with that, and to understand that being good financially, of being able to breathe every day and not worrying if I'm going to make this month's rent out of being a professional psychic and tarot readers, that there was a way that I could work with that so that I could actually breathe. And I think that this card, the Eight of Pentacles, is asking me to reflect and to move forward in confidence with those changes that have happened for me in terms of reframing my beliefs around money and being financially secure. So there you go. Major work this year. So now we're on to card number 4. What do I need to let go of during the waning moon? Oh God, we're up to 15 minutes already. I really hate doing this, but here we go. So this card is about fire and the beginnings. And so we have another ace. It is a fire card. So it's really involved in enthusiastic energy, intuition, letting go of the last vestiges of no confidence, and to move forward knowing that my skill set is in place, that I don't have to apologize for what it is that I do, that there's a security in my skill set here, and that it's time to really own that and to move forward with it. So I guess if I was going to frame that in terms of what is it I need to let go of, it's like I need to let go of this weird false belief structure that I have about who I am involved in this business and involved in my business and setting it up. So there we go. So I guess it's like the challenge and the letting go is to leave the past in the past, just to let it be, happen back there. Don't have to deal with it. Going on, moving on. And then the last challenge here is, and I think it's called Frerulet. And I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. But anyways, this card, some of the major arcana cards are named differently because they fit more closely in with a druidic perspective. But this card really is in the place of temperance. It has much the same symbology in it, but it's a little bit different. It's almost the alchemy of it. It's an alchemist. So we have someone who's mixing potions here. There are faces up here in the corner. There are witch stones holding this. It's really quite lovely. I just want to... so witch stones are these little things here. Anyways, so the message here is to engage in the process of bringing together and integrating the different parts of ourselves. So we compartmentalize ourselves far too often. And it's like I have a planner for my metaphysical work this year. I have a planner for the mechanics of what my business looks like. What this card is saying is it's time to integrate those together. And so this card is saying that it's time for me to believe that I do have the ability to work forward, that all the parts are going to be joined together and to work. That's the challenge this year, is to work together to bring those disparate parts together so that we're working in a very holistic and whole way, and to trust in the future, and that all will be well, and that the work that I do is sourced from spirit, and that I can count on the universe and the spirit to have my back, and that I can move forward in confidence. So there you go. That's my reading. I think it's a pretty decent reading for the year. I'm kind of excited about 2018. As I said, it's been a number of months since I have made a video, and I'm going to put in the description down below the software that I'm now using to produce my videos, along with Tubebuddy, which is the software that I use to manage my YouTube channel and make it easier, much easier to edit and create and be part of the YouTube creators community. So that'll be down there as well. But I am looking forward to the next 31 days, and getting on this journey and getting on with it. And we'll see you all tomorrow. So this is 31 Days of Tarot. I'm Alex from Tea and Transformation. See you on the other side. Bye.